Hola, hola, buenos dias, GnGs, or buenas noches, because I don't know when you're going to actually watch this. Nonetheless, I am Trek with 2Ks. This is Weekend Crypto, brought to you here on the Gentleman of Crypto YouTube channel, aka the Gentleman of Crypto Network. If you don't know, it is definitely popping on this network. I and a number of other people bring you various content related to the crypto and blockchain space in this growing industry as we know it now. Nonetheless, before I get into that, if you don't know the basic idea where Weekend Crypto is, I cover stories that happen between Friday evening and Sunday. And so I share some of those things and, put it out on a Monday morning. And before I jump into the story, I do want to say thank you to the folks who are still looking to tap in and check out the Weekend Crypto. And I know I don't do the price talk stuff, but that's why you got King and Zay at the 10ish hour Monday through Friday. And that's why you got the other folks on this network who also go more in depth on things in relation to the price talk, speculative stuff, the TA, the FA, whether you're talking about NFTs, metaverses, or the coins, tokens, whatever it is. Trust me, somebody else is covering that aspect of it. I'm just not that guy for it. First story is gonna be about Sol. Basically, Solana founder Unveils big blockchain update. I don't really mess with Sol, but I know a number of y'all out there really be fans of it. So let's get into what just happened. What's his name? Oh wow, what a name. Anatoly, who's the co-founder of Solana Labs, basically just put out, hey, we did an update. Now, I just had to do that part to say the name and stuff. Here's what's really the tea of it, I guess to say. Previously, the problem, so basically they were having issues before. If you've been around for a while, you know that Solana not went out. Solana was turned off multiple times this year. Multiple. And I'm not talking like 2 or 3, I'm talking like upwards to 8, okay? And so this was the solution to when things would go wrong in their blockchain as far as if it was under attack because somebody hacked something or there was some kind of, excuse me, over function or what, not over function, but like overactivity, and they needed to do what they needed to do to make sure that their chain wasn't completely just bogged down or knocked out and not working anymore. Nonetheless, they had an update. This is what's going on with it right now. This previous problem caused prolonged shutdowns of the Solana network, which is still in its test phase, which is ironic because I think Solana's been around like the whole C19 period. Two plus years of a test phase. Wow. All right. So according to SolScan, many of the largest validators in the Solana network have still not updated. So when I read this part of it, it made me wonder, and this is just something for tinfoil hat on, the people who are like the major validator size level folks, why would they not be on it? And it's either they don't care about the security factor or it works better monetarily speaking for them when things are able to be shut down at the click of a button, or if they do certain things to make it that what the predicted pattern is of the Solana core people. So as if we do this, we know they'll do that. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there as I'm wearing I'm rocking the baldy right now, but if I had the tinfoil hat on, that is a thought process for me at least. So, of all the validators, only 44.53% have been updated to the latest version. And again, it's not that you have the major whale people doing it. They can still do their own thing, whatever that is about. Anyway, last other line in this is according to the data presented, the average number of transactions per second is now 2,000. The average block time has also improved and is now around zero point 0.5 milliseconds. On the downside, there has been a decrease in network activity, which is reflected in a decrease in the number of daily programs used. Do understand their transaction speed is that high up because it's a limited number of validators. So if it's a smaller number of validators, it takes less time for the validation process to happen. Other thing to note, this fallout that they're talking about with daily activity is also in part because there's been some connection to the whole FTX situation and Solana. That also adds into it too, especially when most of the folks is just looking to chase the bag. So if you're just looking to chase the bag and the markets is going crazy and people are losing money, what you gonna do? You're gonna stop doing shit. Jumping on to this next thing. I seen this and I was just like, what is going on right now? And I thought it was saying one thing, but I'm still fuzzy and I feel like there's a word semantics game being played, not necessarily in this article, but how, let me get into it. 99% of ETH OFAC compliance to slow block time to 3 hours, but not censor. So basically what this headline is saying for how they wrote it out, if 99% of the Ethereum blockchain, and then there's another part that's catchy in this is that they're not talking about the validators in this headline. You don't know about the validator stuff until you get into the actual article. The basic idea is that if the validators do the compliance work at the OFAC requirement level, it would take up to 3 hours to get things to be reasonably sure or be included in a block. Nonetheless, jumping in. As the Office of Foreign Assets compliance levels continue to increase on the Ethereum blockchain, a researcher for Scroll ZKP attested to the fact that a sensor transaction will still confirm faster on Ethereum's blockchain as opposed to a Bitcoin blockchain transaction. See, now, this is where we getting into the little technical, not even minutia. There's a technical argument here that is being like painted over, and it sounds easy what he's saying, but I promise you, I know there's some techie people out here right now. Like, what? That don't make sense. That's not how that works. Or you're leaving out this bit of information, which when I was reading, this is what I felt was happening, that they left out certain information. At least that's how I was taking it. So nonetheless, this person, the researcher from Scroll ZKP, says this thing, and then the article breaks down a little bit more. An Ethereum block occurs every 13 seconds on average, and hundreds of blocks are being validated hourly. Should ETH validators become 99% OFAC compliant, transactions will take an average of 3 hours, but will still be included in blocks. Yo, I need y'all to understand something, because I even put this in one of the what's the name of the joint? The Twitter groups I'm in, and I'm like, "Yo, did y'all see this?" And the first thing that somebody said was, "If it made it that the transactions time went this far out, that effectively just breaks down the whole point of the blockchain." Now, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like the techie people will be on my side about why this is BS for what's being argued here about a OFAC compliant blockchain or validators that are OFAC compliant and how they would still add non-compliant transactions into the blockchain. Doesn't make sense. That's at least my thought process. So what is it? What is it? Data from inclusion.watch allows visitors to adjust the level of censorship compliance on the Ethereum network to ascertain the time of a block that is censored by the MEV boost relays to be included in a block. I don't know, that sentence didn't make sense to me even after I read it this time, whatever. Nonetheless, like the fact that we're saying, hey, we have the validators who are censoring the stuff, and then we're going to try to still spin it this way. Bottom line is, if you an Ethereum fanboy or girl, like, I don't know, but I feel like this blockchain in this version of it, this proof of stake setup, is not going to be helpful the way that certain folks like Vitalik and others made it seem in the beginning. So as of press time, the average percentage of OFAC compliant blocks produced has reached 77.82%, meaning that it will take over 7 minutes for a non-compliant transaction to be included in a blockchain with absolute certainty. Here's the other part of this. We're not even talking about forking. How about that? Now this would be another proof of stake Ethereum, because it's, yo, if this is the route y'all are gonna go for compliance stuff, we'll go over here and make our own. It's open to all kind of transactions. We're not gonna follow the OFAC compliance. It'll be a smaller market probably, but I imagine the amount of funds that would move through that way would be, I would imagine, be sizable. But nonetheless, a number of people are posting on stuff about it. This is actually a sideways commercial for this company here and what they're doing, honestly. in all honesty. Like, it's not a full on it's an article and it's informative, but it's not informative the way you think it's informative. Nonetheless, this did come out. I will say the author, Josh, he did point out one of the things as far as, hey, if we're talking about this 99% censorship thing and the validators following to validate compliant transactions and put them into a block and include non OFAC compliant ones, the argument that Ethereum is censorship resistant is hard to challenge under this revelation. However, were transactions from Uniswap, Aave, or 1inch part of the 1%, then a 3-hour settlement would cause for a serious network issue. Yes. So here's the thing, like, this is what I'm saying. They're not giving it the full explanation that it deserves. And I'm not saying that's on the part of the author here, but just know, like, stuff like this is going on right now in the space. Jumping on to this next thing, Cardano introduces Dust token. Here's what it is known. Honestly, when I first heard of this, and I think I seen something pop up a couple of weeks ago, Cardano's been doing something to be in a news cycle every week with a couple of stories. Like, it amazes me, and I'm not 100% certain on what that is about, but it's a concerted effort for sure. So basically, Cardano recently unveiled Midnight, a zero knowledge data protection based sidechain, and its upcoming token Dust. So here's the thing that I don't get, why they call it a sidechain, because I don't know, is it actually off based on Cardano? Because they're saying that it's a whole chain, it's a whole blockchain by itself. Is that a layer zero? I don't know. But nonetheless, they basically went and followed some whale person who's in Cardano. Here's the thoughts of what they had on it. The maximum supply and emission schedules of the ADA remain unchanged, and Dust will never give you a seat at the table of Cardano's consensus or earnings. So basically, that's like saying, hey, these two things are not connected, aside from the fact that they're on two separate chains, they're two different things. In response to the possible use of Dust as gas on the Midnight blockchain, ADA Whale said, I think that's the idea. Yeah. So if you're a Cardano fan, I'm imagining you might be already tracking this. If you're not, this might be something that you want to go look into. I'm actually kind of curious on why they're making a whole nother chain and coin altogether. But the other thing, what was the other thing? According to its official website, Midnight will be data protection based blockchain that safeguards sensitive commercial and personal data while preserving the fundamental freedoms of association, commerce, and expression. That sounds like a very good copywriter. They hit all the buzzwords right now. Excuse me. We'll see how this works out, because like we all know the track record of things that come out of the Cardano camp, and there's usually way more talk than there is execution and delivery in a timely manner. So we'll see how this goes, right? Next, we get into, will aggregator marketplaces become the go-to places to buy NFTs? I seen this and it made me think for a second. I was like, I thought about this before I even saw this article, honestly, on it was something else that happened earlier, like a month or two back, that made me wonder about like aggregator marketplaces. But here's what this story gets into. So, aggregator trading marketplaces may be one of the future trends of the NFT industry, bringing more liquidity and improving the user experience. I question that part, but whatever. Take note to this company name right here, Footprint Analytics. I don't know how old this company is or how new this company is, but I'm saying take note to them for a reason. So jump into this. While there are several NFT marketplaces that choose to, all right, damn, my throat is killing me right now. I don't know why. Where was I at? While there are several NFT marketplaces to choose from when buying your digital asset, it is insufficient to consistently switch between them when trading. Another problem in the fragmented market is having to pay gas fees more than once when buying something from different marketplaces. NFT aggregators allow people to buy multiple NFTs from various platforms in bulk, thereby saving on gas fees and being efficient. Beyond that, aggregators also experimenting with novel models for NFT trading, namely AMM, marketplace pledging, and NFT tokenization. The last two things in basically, it's about to be a whole new wave of experiment going on over the next 2, 3 years. And like y'all thought yield farming was crazy during C19, and you thought, what's the other thing? The staking pools stuff, liquidity pools is crazy. Wait till you see what they do in this aggregator space for NFTs, and they're gonna run it up before the lawmakers get in. That's what I walk away with from this particular article and what was just said right here. And I'm taking this from the standpoint of reading between the lines. Okay. The marketplaces are definitely going to pop up. Why? Because of the things they listed. And there's going to be more people coming in to experiment in this NFT space. And it's not just going to be about art stuff. I promise you, it's not just going to be about art as the content. And I'm saying this in regards to visual art and musical art. I think there will be other types of content that people will attach to NFT technology, and that is going to be a marketplace unto itself. Those of you who understand what I'm saying, I believe you understand what I'm saying. Nonetheless, jumping into this next part of it here, in turn, OpenSea has upgraded its products and acquired competitors. This was actually the most keyest part to this whole article. OpenSea saw what was going on in the marketplace and how basically they wasn't really distinguishing themselves, let's say over the last year, between them and any of the other crypto marketplaces that were Ethereum based or EVM based. And so now it's we got to expand and get into other blockchain types and get to the markets that are on other chains. But how do you do that if your whole ecosystem is built solely around the EVM? You acquire either the other marketplaces on other blockchains, or you acquire aggregating sites or marketplaces that deal in those other things. So they did the Google playbook right here for the biz dev, which was, all right, let's get this money together and go and grab these other ones. So here you have it in April. They acquired GEM. In May, OpenSea users wait, OpenSea allowed users to trade NFTs using other means of payment besides cryptocurrencies. That was a whole new thing to open right there. So now you don't even got to worry about having a Web3 wallet, aka a Web3 wallet, MetaMask, right? You can now just use your credit card, your debit card. There you go. You can use your Cash App card. There you go. The adoption is happening, but they also realize they got to cross outside of the EVM ecosystem. In October, it was announced that a bulk order, what is it? A bulk order. Sorry. It was announced that bulk order and purchase functionality was officially supported, and now users could list and purchase up to 30 items in a single transaction. This is some eBay level shit right here, okay? Now, I don't know who was buying like this, but I can also understand that as a strategy of like how scalping works when you do the tickets. If you can buy 5 tickets at one time, and then what do? You keep the 1 ticket for if you want to go to the thing, and then you sell off the other 4. It's the same thing that's about to pop up in OpenSea on that right there. That just happened last month, right? Other than that was the last thing. But like I said, reason why I said pay attention to this company, because this is what they're seeing now. I imagine this company and this cross-brand partnership thing they're doing for news articles will be popping up more often. Might be a company to pay attention to see what they're talking about in that 6, 12, 24-month period out. I think that this makes total sense as far as aggregator markets popping up. I would actually be more curious of deck style aggregator marketplaces popping up versus centralized marketplaces like a OpenSea and Rarible and blah, blah, blah. But that's just my thought on that one. On to this next joint. Yo, so billion-dollar crypto fund Grayscale refuses to post proof of reserves. Next firm to collapse? Question mark. So earlier last week, King and Zay was talking about this. Don't get caught up in this whole thing. I'm gonna say, don't get caught up in this whole thing about proof of reserves. It is not what it's still, you can still do a sleight of hand and basically lie about what is in your books as a business. Like, for the simple fact of X amount of what these financial institutions are doing is not on chain. And I'm saying this, the financial institutions as far as the crypto related ones. And so for the ones that are more traditional finance, that's where you get into the whole thing of the third party auditors and stuff like that. But then even in those cases, just look at what the hell FTX did. Just look at what Bernie Madoff did. These people had systems in place and was still able to get around stuff. If stuff was on chain, now granted, there's a whole thing about privacy and following proper lines of disclosure and stuff like that. But nonetheless, don't get caught up in this thing right here. So I'm gonna jump to a couple of different lines on here. So in a Saturday tweet, the company said major cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, which is used by Grayscale as a custodian, frequently performs on-chain validation, adding that they cannot share their proof of reserves due to security risks. So the question then becomes, who is it a security risk to? Or we'll be like, why doesn't Coinbase share what they're showing or what they're getting from the on-chain transactions? Or why don't you share the on-chain transactions? If Coinbase does it and it's on-chain transaction, that means everyone else already sees it, right? Because it's on-chain transactions. But that's not what they're going with here. That's not what they're going with at all. They're just saying it's a security risk, right? So now you seem sketchy if you're saying this now when you see everybody else doing what they're doing. But again, remember this proof of stake thing is also a smoke and mirrors. Sorry, proof of reserve thing is also a smoke and mirrors thing because X amount of these companies in the crypto space are doing rehypothecation. So it don't matter if they show you a image of what their state of their reserves look like on chain at one time. It don't like it could be a week ago, it could be 3 days ago, it could be 6 months ago. What does that mean right now? And then, yo, it just happened the other day. Who was it? Damn, I forgot the name of the exchange that accidentally sent, what was it, over 300 Ethereum to another that was supposed to be to the cold storage wallet that went to another exchange. They're playing a shell game, people. Just saying, that's my observation of it. I'm just on this side, y'all. I'm just on this side. This ain't financial advice. I'm just some bald-headed guy on the internet. Do note that if you disagree with any of the things I say, the links will always be in this. We don't delete comments. And I'm definitely always open for correction, right? Because I don't know everything. I just been around for a bit and I be seeing certain patterns of behavior and I'm learning more and more. Even though the blockchain is transparent, these businesses and the individuals who build on top of blockchains are not transparent. And that's the bigger issue. That's why we don't trust, but we verify. You can only verify pretty much when shit is on chain, which is not the case in most of these business situations for the financing side of these companies. Nonetheless, in crypto, the proof of reserves is a methodology that allows users to prove whether or not an independent auditor has the reserves of a specific exchange or business. And this is the other thing to note. The way that this is being explained is you can do it as the user, but it's only a certain type of user. And then you still have to trust a third party to validate what's supposed to be on chain. Like, I'm just saying, man, they out here doing word salad and playing games and optics. I don't even want to bother to read the rest of that. Y'all can see what it is. Remember, the link for this will be in the description. So, you know, you can definitely dive on this when you want to. I thought it was really funny that they found this dude, Adam Beck is just, yo, I'm a cryptographer and this shit don't make sense to me. So what are y'all talking about? Nonetheless, if Adam Beck is like, I don't understand why you're saying it's a security thing, I'm just saying it's a little funky. All right, so we're gonna close out with this last story. The last story is this. Canadians' largest pension fund writes off 95 million FTX investment. This is the Ontario's teachers, which is not funny, haha, but I swear they were on a strike, I think last year. No, this had to, I feel like they've been on a strike either pre-COVID, because I remember when I was up there before COVID, I seen a number of protests on things going on around schools. And I imagine this situation don't help, especially for how COVID played out. But nonetheless, here's the bottom line of it. Canadians' largest pension fund, Ontario Teachers, said it would write off its 95 million in bankruptcy crypto exchange FTX, according to the November 17th press statement. And where's the other one to jump into? So I also thought this was interesting. Like, if this was only like under 0.05% of his total net assets, damn, there's a lot of money sitting in this particular pension. I'm just saying. So Ontario teachers revealed that it carried out its robust due diligence process that explored the exchanges, provided materials and other research materials on commercial, regulatory, tax, and financial, technical, and other matters. Here's the part that's getting me about this whole situation with the FTX thing. There's a thing going on where they're saying people in the crypto space as quote now investors, you have to be educated and mature and you have to like know stuff. And if you don't have this more educated way of understanding finance, then oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Lo and behold, right? Where is it at? Core own Timaski, they said they're writing off 275 million in investment. Sequoia, they're writing off money as an investment to FTX. The people who were supposed to be all smart and all knowing, and they have degrees and titles, guess what? They didn't know shit for all of the due diligence they did. And what's crazy to me about this FTX situation is the amount of news and like details that's coming out now and that was popping up before the bankruptcy filing paperwork came out. It's wait a minute. So you're telling me people was able to connect all of these dots before the court documents came out, and y'all telling us that y'all did y'all due diligence, but you ain't find none of that? Bullshit. But hey, I'm not a financial guy. I'm not a TA guy. I'm just some guy on the internet who covers some weekend crypto news stories. Nonetheless, I'm sorry for the ramble. I hope y'all enjoy. I hope something caught your attention and hopefully it helps you out. I really do hope that. Oh, other thing to note, as I said before, working on another show. It's going to be a late night joint. It's definitely on the more geeky side of stuff because this is going to be talking about metaverses and we doing stuff where we talking about movies, we talking about cartoons, TV shows, we're talking about digital realty. We're talking not about the speculative coins and token side stuff. We talking about actual tech stuff side of it, low code, no code ready stuff, how to build out like smart contracts and things, how to do a NFT faucet in a metaverse. Like me and my homeboy 3D did that already, right? So my point being is that show is going to pop out soon, and I just want to say thanks to King and Zay for this other opportunity too to get this popping. And yeah, it's going to be a late night thing. Other than that, I'm rambling. It's been a long day, and I hope that as it is Monday, you have a productive over a busy day. But if you're not, and that ain't what it is, at least be in a good place, in a safe space, and that's at least the best I could ask. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world these days, so I just hope that for everybody out there who's within my listening voice, all right? Other than that, y'all, one.